Hopefully there's enough light in here. It's time for me to attack my little Jack here. Haven't had any responses as to what colour I should choose, so I'll have to make that decision myself without any of your help. So this is the before, next will be the blasted, and then we will do the powder coating and after. So let's just get on with it. Alright, here we are, part the way through blasting. Because this has got round surfaces, it's kind of tricky to do, and obviously cleaning off all the thread and all sorts of little nooks and crannies to get in and out of. But we are getting there, so I'll hopefully be finishing this tomorrow and show you it then fully blasted, and then once that's done I'll be able to give her a dousing in brake cleaner to get any grease off, and then we will powder coat it and make it look pretty. And then I will actually have to decide what colour to do it. This is tricky. I could do it in silver, but I don't think that would look right. I could do it in black, but that would be acceptable. And I can do it in red, which matches the car. And I must admit, I'm kind of swaying in that direction. I guess you're going to have to watch to the end of the video to see what colour I did. Yes, it's a cliffhanger. Same time, same channel, same place. We'll see you later. Alright, here it is. It's been blasted now, and I've given it a good dousing of brake cleaner. This shows up any other little areas where I need to just give it a little bit more attention, and you can see it here. It needs a little bit more attention. A little bit in there, kind of here, a little bit here. That I'd probably have to dig out with a knife. Maybe a bit there and a little bit there. Then that is pretty much it. Yes. And I will go over it with a chisel and a hammer. And where it's been welded and there's little welding spatters that the manufacturer has left, you know, like this one here, I'll knock that off, and here I'll knock it off. I don't like them because I'm anal. And this was made by Mr. King Dick. It does actually say it there. I know that's upside down. King Dick, made in England. Patents or patent number like 9625500. So, and on this side there's a little bit more that I can attack with some sandpaper, or maybe even in the blaster. Yeah, and some of it is so deep it just doesn't want to come out, so what I will do is I'll sand it, maybe get a wire brush on it, and give it a good go. In fact, I think I'll probably do that now. I'll take this back to the garage rather than in my blasting room, and see how good I can get it. And also that's where my hammer and chisel is, so, and the wire brushes and everything else that I need. So that's the next phase. Welcome back. Okay, I have had a couple of requests asking about the powder coating and how I do it. I have covered this in other videos, but of course if you haven't watched those you won't know the powder coating, and as this is a refurbishment of the Jack, obviously at the end of it powder coating is something I'm going to do. So let us first of all, this is the part. It is now cleaned. I've taken as much crap off of it as I can get. Sometimes it's not possible. And I have wire brushed it, I have sandblasted it, and the article that you'll see sitting here now has also been doused in the brake cleaner. Now, you don't have to use brake cleaner, but you need to use something to get any grease off, and that includes your fingerprints. You can't, unfortunately, help but handle it somehow, sometimes, but you got to keep it to a minimum. Now, on this, obviously, this particular part, and this applies to all the other parts, anything with a thread, you don't want powder coat on that thread. So I'm going to have to cover my thread in a tape. There are various types of tape. The one I'm going to use today is this particular one, and this is a heat resistant tape. I've had it rather a while, so the main objective is to keep the powder coat off of the part. If it comes off while it's baking, that's not a big deal. So before I even attempt to powder coat this, I'm going to use this tape and cover up all the thread. Now, you will need a contact point between the substrate, or the piece of sheet you're working on if you prefer, and this little clip here. Now, I've got it here, this little clip here. Now, as you can see, I've got those metal hooks on there, so what I'll do is I'll attach it thusly. Now, if I taped it first and then just let these hooks be there, then I wouldn't get a contact, and I'd have to clip it on out here somewhere. Well, if I do that, then that particular area is not going to be covered in powder coat. So you want to think about what you're going to do, and think about what you want coated and what you don't want coated. The only thing on this that I don't want coated is the thread. I would rather not coat that brass piece, but it is such a pig to mask it up. I'm just going to sacrifice that and say to hell with it, I'm not going to worry. Okay, so I showed you that tape. There are also these other tapes I have, and they come in different widths. And these are special heat resistant tapes. There's that one, and there's that one. So as you can see, they're different widths, but that's just for wrapping up whatever it is you want to wrap up. Now, yeah, I could use those on this thread, but this is wider, so that's why I'm going to do it. All right, so let me get the thread wrapped up, and then we'll continue, and I'll show you what I'm going to do, or how I powder coat it. I have decided that I'm going to powder coat this red. Yes, that is not the correct colour for this jack on this year, but one, red is my favourite colour. Two, the car's going to be red. And three, when it's sitting in the boot, on the back, on the wall of the boot, it'll stand out, because the carpet, I believe, now I may not be 100% correct here, but I think I'm correct in saying that the carpet comes up there and the carpet is black. If not, it doesn't matter. This is just what I want to do, and this is the joy of it being my car. I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. I'll listen to your opinions, and maybe even I'll take them on board. Maybe I'll even be persuaded. But in this particular case, nah. I'm going to go for red. So let me get these threads covered up, and then we can get on with the powder coating. Here she is now, all taped up and ready for powder coating. Now, let me just get my clip on there. This end, the hook can go on the outside, just less for me to clean up. There will be a little bit for me to clean up here when I've done the powder coating. That's not a big deal. So this is ready now. It's kind of tricky because it's round. Flat surfaces are always easier, but you get there. You just got to take your time and go at it. Now, the next bit of the video, I have to put a mask on, so there will be very little audio, and if there is any, it'll be muffled, which I know will be a great bonus for you guys. Before we delve into that, there's a couple of other things that I didn't cover. You're going to need oh, excuse me, some nice sharp scissors to cut the tape, and sometimes you'll need a scalpel. The powder coat gun I use is one I got from Eastwood. It's a dual voltage powder coat system. You don't run these at very high pressure. I think it's around 8 psi, something like that, maybe 8 to 12 psi. There is a deflector that goes on the end here so that the fan of the powder goes out sideways. I want it directional so that I can, you know, aim at what I'm doing. Now let's get the things sorted out and get my airline connected, and let's powder coat it. Oh, one other thing. You will need, if you haven't got one, and if you haven't got one, you ain't going to do powder coat, is an electric oven, not gas. Has to be electric. This one I mentioned before. I picked this up on Craigslist for 25 bucks. I didn't give a shit whether the rings on the top worked, as long as the oven worked. That's all I cared about. The particular powder I use, you bake it at 395 for 15 minutes. It's, you know, one of those things that you have to follow the instructions on the package. I get my powder coat from a company called Caswell. They mail it to you. They're one of the better places. You could go to Eastwood. Eastwood have a variety of colours, but they are quite expensive and you get smaller amounts. So I prefer personally to go to Caswell's and buy it more or less in bulk. If you're just doing, you know, one little item, sure, you know, you're going to go to Eastwood and buy one of their little tubs, and they're approximately this kind of size. They don't hold a lot, but that's roughly the amount you'll get. Whereas you know, sometimes they come in these kind of packets. This is an Eastwood hot coat one. This is the red. But when you buy from Caswell's, you'll get a big bag of it, or a tin of it, depending on what you order. All right, let me get masked up and we'll get stuck in. Okay, as I said, it was going to be muffled. Now let's see how it goes. I have to be careful with this because it wants to pivot all the time. But let's see. Grabbing the other end, what one now has to do is get the charge ready. I'm not getting it. Oh, there we go. Good contact. All right. Now I have the volume of the powder coat set quite high. I want a good thick coat on this baby. All right. Just let that settle for a moment. And then we'll turn around. Now, one of the distinct advantages of doing this is, should I now look at this and go, oh, that doesn't look good, you can just brush it off. At this stage, you can brush it off. After baking, that's a whole new story. So now what I want to do is turn this around so I can do the other side. And of course I have to remember that, the only hook that has got contact to the metal is this one, so I have to reach across. Now, this is kind of tricky because you want to turn it round without banging it. It's like a woman. You want to turn them round without banging them, and then bang them once they're turned round. Did I say that out loud? Oh, as you can see, it's covered quite well. Now, one of the main reasons for that is that it's, I believe the correct term is electrostatic. That might be the wrong term, but it's a negative and a positive, so they attract. And because I sprayed heavily past it, it turned round on itself and adhered to the material substrate. Jack, piece of shit, whatever you're working on, give it a name you like. I like substrate. Hello, I'm a substrate. I'm just trying to get it to balance a little better. Okay. Here we go again, and you have to do the same thing. There you go. It's kind of like painting, but you're painting with powder. Now with paint, of course, you can bang it. Nothing happens. If I bang this now, all the powder comes off and I destroy all the good work I've just done. So now this is ready to go in the oven. Is the oven ready? Oven ready. This stuff gets everywhere. And I know I've mentioned it, but obviously I have a breathing mask on. You don't want to be breathing this shit. It is horrible. It will make you cough up a lung. So I'm just waiting now for the air to clear, for the temperature to come up. Well, whilst I'm waiting for the temperature to come up, no point in you standing here watching me. I will now put this beast in the oven and bake it for 15 minutes. We'll come back when that is done. Okay, it's finished baking. Time for the big reveal. Let's see what kind of a mess we got in here. This isn't going to be easy. Note gloves, because this is going to be hot. Okay. Ooh. Let's bring her out. Must admit that is a darker red than I was expecting. I don't know where I got that red from. So let's just leave it there now. I was extracting a bright red. What does it say? Maroon. Well, that would explain it, wouldn't it? Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll just leave it like that. Gotta let this cool down now, so a couple of hours we'll come back, peel off that tape and see how it is. Actually, maybe maroon is a better, more subtle way of doing it. I couldn't decide between red and black, so I've got in between here, haven't I? Interesting thought. Okay, we'll be back in a moment for you, but in 2 hours for me. Here it is, complete and powder coated. Still a little on the warm side. So let's get this tape off. Ensure that it has kept my threads nice and clear. And which way do we start? Let me see, there we go. Now those of you that are watching are going, oh, you said it was going to be red. I did. I picked up the wrong packet of powder. No two ways about it. Simple as that. Wasn't paying attention. However, I'm not totally averse to this particular colour. It's still in the red vein. So we will see. If I get to the point where this colour annoys the hell out of me, I'll strip it off and do it again. Ooh, baby, just don't want to let go. know if you get in the back of my head, but I need to get in there. Get in there, Morton. Oh, and those Formula One people out there. And before I say what I'm about to say, I am a Lewis Hamilton fan. I have been a fan of his ever since he got into Formula One, and I saw him and realised he existed. Why did I support him? Well, he's British, so that kind of gave me a little supporty thing there. He was black, and I like to see that diversity. So that was the second reason. Recently, he has procrastinating over the contract with Mercedes, who have given him quite a few world championships. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't got the talent, he has. And as I said, I'm a Lewis fan. But I think he's getting a little bit too big for his damn boots. And I don't know, but I believe he's arguing over money and certain things he wants in the contract. Okay, I understand negotiations and all of that kind of stuff, but as I said, I think he's got a little too big for his boots. I think Mercedes should tell him to go forth and multiply. Bring in Russell. Then let Hamilton go and drive at Williams. We'll see how good he is then. I still believe he's good, but then he'll know what it's like. And Russell has proved he can do it. Also, this knighting business. Lewis Hamilton did his job. He got paid extremely well for it. That doesn't make him a knight in my book. Also, he is a resident of Monaco, which means he is not allowed to be a knight of the realm. But Boris the Arsehole Johnson is making a waiver on that, which he should not be allowed to do. It should not happen. I'm sure there are much more deserving people out there than Lewis Hamilton. And yes, I am a fan of his. But there you go. All right, sorry, off my soapbox. There she is, done. So all I got to do now is clean it up a bit. I'll wind this up. Ooh. And then what I will do, I am going to grease me shaft and then wipe me shaft. I want to grease it because I want to preserve it, make sure it doesn't get rusty. So this is remarkably tight at the moment. It's probably because of the heat. It's still, this is actually still hot. You can't tell, but I can tell you that's a toasty, huh? All right, so let me see. Just trying to get it into a position where I can demonstrate, well, not demonstrate it, show you it. Okay, well, ignoring the blemishes that are obviously there, I wonder if I can do this. I'm just trying an experiment here, guys. If this is going to work. Sorry, just bear with me a couple of moments. It doesn't work. Does it? No, it doesn't. All right, I was trying to jam it against the bottom there. It doesn't work. All right. So there she is. Done, powder coated, finished, looking rather good. Absolute perfection, no, then you know, it's not on the brassy bit there. I missed that, but I am not worried about that. In fact, what I'm probably going to do is clean off that little bit that is on there so that it looks even better, and do the same on this side. And then it's ready to go in the car when I get the car back from the body shop, and there has been unfortunately more delays on that, but I do hope it'll be over soon and my body man recovers, because he's been extremely ill, and I do feel sorry for him, I really do. But in all honesty, I want to get my baby back. My baby back, my baby back, my baby back. And start putting shit on it. I think the timing is going to work out well. I'm about to receive, hopefully, if all goes well, some money. And that will coincide perfectly with my buddy being better, so he can finish up the bodywork and I can buy all the pieces I need, and we can really hammer on and hopefully get it. I'd love to see it at least running by the end of the year. I'm hoping for more than just running, but we ain't going to put money on that. There you go, guys. That's the end. As I said, you may not like the colour. That doesn't really matter. It's what I like. And I like that. Yes, I was going for a brighter red, but I'm kind of thinking I'm going to leave that as it is now. And then each time I open the boot, when I look at it, if it annoys me, then I will strip it down and do it again, as the Beach Boys would say. Something about and do it again. Okay, as always, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, or else want to buy me a beer? More than appreciated, as my friend at Church House Classic says. There is a link. It's the paypal.me link, and you can send me a few bucks, and I promise you I will buy a beer with it, and I will thank you, and I would kiss you, but that could be a bit weird, so I won't do that. I'll just say thank you. All right, guys, now get out in that garage and do some shit.